Well, welcome back to the 60th annual Porsche Parade. I'm here with Chris Young and this beautiful example, 1987 928 S4. Now, these cars back in the 80s, I mean, was a lot of, a dream car for a lot of kids. I mean, in risky business and such. I know in my Matchbox setup, I had a red one just like this with the real rubber wheels. And I don't know if you remember that one, but these were cars that we dreamed about, and here's a perfect example. He just got finished going through a concours touring level competition, and he did pretty well. And this is your second Porsche Parade. So tell me a little bit about your first experience at Porsche Parade and how it compared to this time around.
No problem. Okay, first thing, 1988.
Oh, it's an 88. I'm sorry.
But it was built late 1987, so we'll split it into
close. All right, that's good.
And one note about what you said about the Matchbox cars and all that, same thing.
Same thing, right?
Yeah, I had a blue and brown one. Okay, built models. Okay, so the first parade I went to was Traverse City. Traverse City, was it 2013, and I actually won first, and it was in the street category. So if you're going to go to touring, make sure you clean your motor. We'll get to that in a moment. Okay. So it was a great experience. The Porsche Club, everyone was really friendly. They were really accommodating. And, for some reason, these cars are getting really a lot of attention now. A couple of years ago, as you probably know, they're kind of like stepchild. People don't, I don't want to know about it. And now they're like, I've always loved these. And that goes back to what you said about risky business. Don't forget Weird Science and Scarface and some other stuff they're floating around. And I think Subway actually did some kind of retro 80s thing, and they used a 928.
Well, the 928s are so ahead of their time. These cars at one point were going to be considered as the 911 replacement. And this was the ultimate GT touring car. Advanced technology inside and out. It's a 32-valve V8.
32-valve V8 on the S4, or actually the 928S 86.5. Then they started, might have been 85, but before then it was 16-valve, non-interference motor.
So this obviously is a beautiful example, but this is also very near and dear to your heart. You have a little connection with it, and I share that.
Yes, I do. Well, as a child, as a kid, as we mentioned, I grew up in Pennsylvania. And models, Matchbox cars, and all that. Well, when I found this car, which I didn't tell you before, was I live in Michigan now, and I became a car designer primarily because of this car. Just like you would notice about the design elements, is way ahead of its time. So one of my other fellow car designers, we went to a place called Lingenfelter Collection, which you've probably heard of, and he has an 84 928S red. So that got me going again. You know how it is. You kind of go, oh, okay. So I went on the internet.
It fanned the flame, right?
Fanned the flame big time that night. And it came up, and they had it at a facility in New York called Exotic Classics, and very nice people. They have their own photo studio. I said, this car can't look this great. I called them up, very accommodating, sent me more photos. And primarily this car was purchased in 1987, November 2nd, day after my birthday, in Media, Pennsylvania, which I grew up. It's 10 minutes from my mother's house. So I probably saw this car as a kid. He was a lawyer. He moved. Evidently, he ended up in New York. He took care of the car, and he probably getting older, because this car in 1987 was $70,000. Not a small amount today. Then.
Sure. I mean, this was.
Just for inflation.
Yeah, this was truly an exotic car at the time, and it still is. It still is.
Way ahead of its time. So. The owner came out. It was a consignment, and he said was glad it was going to someone who would take care of it. So I think he was ill, and so when I won the award, I sent him a picture of the car on the field, and the owner got back to me, or the owner of the facility got back to me, and he was like, he's so happy and went to someone. It almost brought a tear to your eye, dude.
Well, that's what it's all about. I mean, we have 2,000 of our friends and family here at Porsche Parade. Every single car that is here has a story. Each owner has a connection to the car, and that's what we love about PCA. And so if you get a chance to come out to Porsche Parade or to a local PCA event, please do so, because there's stories like this everywhere you look.